So we've talked about the 3 different ways that a sale of a house can be taxed. I now want to talk about some of the specific criteria that CRA will consider when determining which one of the 3 ways your house sales could be taxed. So a prime example that we've seen recently is the sale of multiple homes within a shorter period of time. So what you may have done is bought multiple homes, moved into them, sold them, bought a subsequent home, moved in, sold it within a shorter period of time. And you may have claimed principal resident exemption on all these homes because you've moved into them for say a year at a time. These are some of the criteria that CRA is going to look at and determine if they would allow you to qualify for the principal resident exemption or if they're in fact going to tax you at the full inclusion tax rate. So the first criteria is the type of property. So if the multiple properties that you're purchasing are all tear downs, for example, with high probability of profit, so buy a house, tear it down, build a new one, move into it for a year and then sell it. That's a high probability that those houses will have a lot of profit. That's one criteria. The next criteria they'll think about is the length of ownership that you've owned the house. So if you bought this tear down house and from purchase to sale is a year and a half, but the length of time it took you to tear the house down, rebuild, or do renovations or whatever you're doing takes a year and you only actually lived in it for a short period of time, that may appear to be purchasing a house more for profit or business reasons. The next criteria is the frequency. So if you're doing this 3 houses in a 4-year period or 5 houses in a 6 or 7-year period, it appears to CRA that you are flipping houses and you're doing it for profit and for business. So your frequency is very high. One of the last criteria is effort. So let's say, for example, you are self-employed or a contract worker or maybe a realtor, and your time spent within this period of time on these houses that you've bought for yourself as principal residents, you've spent a lot of time doing it, and maybe your commission or your earnings those years has dropped. So as a self-employed contractor, all of a sudden your contracting revenues are low, but you've had these multiple houses that you're flipping. That is a sign in CRA's eyes that you haven't spent time working at your normal job, but you've spent time trying to build and flip these houses. Based on these criteria and based on these facts that I've given you, there are court cases where CRA has fully taxed people with the full inclusion rate as all income. We're talking $1 to $2 million of income when the taxpayer has tried to claim principal resident exemption on all those properties.